What's good, y'all? It's the Bleacher Boys back for episode. I don't know what it is, but we're having a lot of fun doing it, so who cares? It's your boy Bryan and Gavin. Gavin, what's up, brother? How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Happy Easter. Happy Easter to you. Happy Easter to everybody that's listening to this. Yeah, man. Everything's been good. Mom and dad came over, so they got to meet the missus, and we had us a good little weekend, man. Went and watched the Braves and the Twins last night, which that's an experience. Going to a Braves game and going to the Battery after. That place gets a little rowdy,
What's the matter?
especially the Battery. So it's like a strip of like bars, kind of like Lansdowne Street in Boston,
Yeah.
right there behind the Monster, where it's like a strip
Mhm.
of bars and people can walk. But it's like got like restaurants, different like piano bars. There's a baseballism store down there, so it's pretty sick, man. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little vibe. Like we got there, I think around like 5ish, something like that. Went and got a pizza and some beer, and then I mean, but dude, it was packed. Like it was insane. And like you're talking about, the Braves aren't that good right now,
Yeah.
and it was packed out. But yeah, you need to come over to the Battery, man. It's a cool little vibe.
Yeah.
So yeah, so did that, and then woke up, went to church today, and then we went to a place called Culinary Dropout. Don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's like a scratch kitchen.
Okay.
Dude, top tier food. Like I got a breakfast pizza. It was like sausage, bacon, egg, and cheese. Dude, when I tell, and it was like a deep crust too.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, gas. So we need to reach out to them and see if they'll sponsor us.
Yeah.
Culinary Dropout sponsor the two big backs doing this podcast.
Yeah. I'm with it, man. Sounds great. Yeah, happy Easter to everybody out there from me.
How
We
you been,
man,
man?
I've been good, man. We had a crazy busy like day. Like I woke up and ate breakfast and then like still been doing yard work. So we laid down seed last week and crazy enough the grass started growing, which is awesome. I laid down like a whole bag worth of limestone this morning, like first thing like 8 o'clock in the morning. Then had to go buy a wheelbarrow. Truck battery went dead at Walmart, so I had to get a jump from there. Put up a fence in our back. Put up like half of a metal fence in our backyard. Put up a carport for my son that he was supposed to be putting up, but he had to change his oil in the side by side. Even though he had
Yeah,
already been at our house doing it for like 3 hours prior to that, washing his vehicles. We
yeah.
weren't happy campers about that, but we just were like, F it, we need to get it done. And then I shot my first interview podcast with a childhood friend of mine, Adrian, who she wrote a book called Mind Over Misery. It's
Okay.
basically like a journey, like it's a journey a little bit more female centric, but I think definitely I got good content out of it. It's a short and sweet book, but really proud of her for writing that book. It's got a good amount of like science, like psychology behind it too. But that book is actually already out. That interview will be coming out Tuesday at 9 a.m. So be sure to check that out, you YouTubers. But it's great. Funny enough, she's actually a childhood friend, and I met her through baseball. She
Okay.
played baseball with me from like age 9 to 12, and I'm 1 year older than her. But she played baseball from T-ball all the way up until she was 16 years old. And she's like 4'10. She's like 4'10, 120 now, but she was like 4'10 and 110 pounds back then. But she
Yeah.
actually played on the high school, like summer league team going into high school. And then she actually tried out for the team. And our coach was actually, because we actually had a very Bill Belichickian coach. Like our coach went to Virginia. He was like in the military, so he was a really just stick it to you in your face, no BS kind of coach. But he was very graceful with her. But he was basically like, I love you. If you were 5 inches taller and 30 pounds bigger, you'd probably make the team. But he's like, I just can't, I just can't do it. But I mean, when she played in the summer, she held her own. She played third and second base, so she's a tough cookie. But that was a really fun podcast. Got not really emotional because it wasn't really emotional, but she dove pretty deep into her personal life. But like I said, the book is a good read, and I actually have some females in my life that I'm going to be handing out that book to.
Yeah.
So I've done all that.
Is it like an athletic mindset kind of book? Is it like or just kind of like kind of give me like the context of it. Is it more
So
geared towards
it's
athletes?
it's no, it's not at all. It's more of a self-help book for females to overcome childhood type trauma, whether you may have like daddy issues or parent issues, and but it's really based around like relationships and how to identify, but one more to make sure you don't lose yourself in your relationships and life in general,
Mm-hmm.
and like kind of working with the cards you've been dealt with and making the best of them, and learning more how to optimize your life from an emotional, spiritual, and physical aspect.
Okay, and it's called Mind Over Misery, right?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out, man. That sounds like it's interesting.
It's not a sports book, but because she was such an athlete and so
Hmm.
competitive, she played college volleyball and softball at Albany State, in
Okay.
Georgia.
Yeah.
So like a lot of her experiences that she speaks on are like sports analogies. Like probably I would say 2/3 of the experiences that she talks about, the analogies she make, are sports related. So it does have a very strong sports connection to it because she's a Yankees fan to this day. She
Hmm.
watches sports like any guy would, but she's still she's definitely, if you met her, she's so soft spoken. She's definitely like a girly girl. Like she's not out here like tucking in her shirt and wearing loosened jeans and all that.
Yeah.
She's definitely like a girly's girl, but she playing against other girls, she definitely F some girls up.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So yeah, that's been my day, man. But let's go ahead and get into the sports week.
Let's do it.
Not a whole lot going on this past week. It's kind of dead period. The NFL draft is coming up this week, and we will be doing a reaction show following up the draft. So be on the lookout for that. I will go ahead and post that the same night of the draft. I won't wait till the next day. But we got a couple playing games. A couple of the games were good. The other couple were blowouts. But really, we've had pretty much all the game ones happen, I think, except for the last one, which is the Warriors and Rockets. The Heat and Cavaliers going on now, but I'm going to go ahead and work backwards on the game results, and then you can go ahead and jump in and give me a reaction and takeaways from the games you've seen so far this year. Earlier, the Celtics, see my boy's wearing his Celtics hat
Yeah.
here, big Boston fan. But his Celtics actually took down my Magic 103-86 just a couple of hours ago. The Thunder waxed the Grizzlies 131-80. I
Ugly.
turned that game off pretty early.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves, the underdogs, blew out the Lakers 117-95. The Knicks and Pistons game is probably one of the two games that's actually been a good game wire to wire. They took the Knicks. The game was 123-112 Knicks, but really the Pistons were there with the Knicks until the last couple minutes of the game, and then the Knicks kind of pulled away, and Cade Cunningham kind of ran out of gas. He never really got off to a great start to begin with, but they kind of ran out of gas. Probably the best game so far was the Clippers and Nuggets. That game went into OT, and the Nuggets came out victorious in that one. Then another blowout game. The Pacers led wire to wire, beating the Bucks 117-98. So, Gavin, what you got from that, brother?
Yeah, man. So we'll go most recent, what you just covered, and then we'll work backwards to what you did first with the Celtics and the Magic. Pacers. I think that series is probably going to go. I'm going to say 6. I'm going to say it's probably going to be 4-2, and it's going to be. I'm going to take the Pacers, even though Giannis is top tier. I just don't know if they're going to get it to click with Dame and him. Which, speaking of that, don't want to get off in the weeds too much. But MVP finalists came out: Shea, Joker, and Giannis were the 3 that are the finalists. So yeah, I could really care less about that series. I don't know. The Pacers, I think, are going to have a good run. I just don't know. I mean, I still got the Celtics, and we'll get there. Nuggets and Clippers, I actually was upset that I didn't get to watch that in real time, being at the Braves game, but it was solid. Watching the highlights. I mean, how about James Harden going for a double-double?
Yeah.
And I feel like, dude, I don't know why, but he's just, you don't hear his name come up too much anymore. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
But that series is going to be good. I think that series is going to be sneaky good. Good to see Kawhi in playoff, in the playoff hunt again, playing meaningful games. I like that. I like to see Kawhi doing that. Knicks and Pistons. I'm going to take the Knicks in that series, even though I think the Pistons have a chance to win it. I don't think the Knicks are making it past the next round, whoever they end up getting, but I'll take the Knicks. I got the Timberwolves all day over the Lakers. I don't see the Lakers pulling it together. I don't know why. I just can't buy stock. We had this conversation a couple weeks ago. You were kind of pulling your stock out of the Lake show. I mean, would you like to see Doncic make the run? Yeah, but at the same time, Ant-Man's the truth. I mean, I saw some numbers the other day where his three-point efficiency this year has been like the comparison that they were making was to Steph Curry in one of his years, and how efficient he has been from behind the 3-point line, and not only on, wide open, but contested shots. So yeah, I'm going to take the Timberwolves in that series. Then you flip over to today. like you said, you got the Cavs and the Heat still going on. The Thunder are a force to be reckoned with. It is scary. But then again, it's hard to buy stock in a Grizzlies team that just fired their head coach.
Yeah.
It's like, what are, I don't know. I'm not buying any stock in them. OKC is going to walk through that. That's going to be a 4-0 sweep, I think. And then we'll go to our matchup, the internal matchup here with the Celtics and the Magic. I don't think the final score really shows how competitive that game was. I think first half, it was very competitive. You guys came out with the lead in the half. And then, like you said earlier, you said Derek White won it for us. I mean, he did have himself a little game. But I tell you what, man, Paulo, and we talked about this a little bit prior to the podcast, the Magic are 1 year away. You say it's a offensive minded guard. I think they're just 1 year away, whatever piece that is. Paulo's the truth, man. He can play. I'm going to take the Celtics. Of course, I'm biased. I think it's going to go 6. I think the one thing that the Celtics have over the Magic is their ability to switch on defense. You see Drew Holiday going in and guarding Paulo in the post. I mean, there's not a lot of teams that can do that. And that's why I say the Thunder the same way. The Thunder, their defense is insane. With Harkenstein and a healthy Chet Holmgren, insane.
Yeah.
Like those two teams are absolute monsters. And then I'm going to take the Rockets in that series against the Warriors. I am going to take the Rockets. I like them a lot. Although it is hard to bet against playoff Jimmy and Steph Curry. It's hard. Yeah. But I like the Thunder. I like the young core. They're electric. They're polarizing, man. They got some really good things going on right now in Houston. But yeah, man, that's about all I got. I'm interested to see, maybe we'll cover this, or we'll, of course, cover it next Sunday, and we'll go back through and see where we're at. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I think the playoffs are going to be really fun to watch. The other guy that's been absolutely torching it right now, and I don't know how much of the play-in you watch, but Tyler Hero.
Yeah, I watch all of it. Yeah.
Dude. Like, guy is going off. I mean, it's insane some of the shots he's hitting. But give me your takeaways, man. What you got?
I guess I'll go in order kind of like you did, and I'll try to be quick. I just don't think Giannis has enough help with Dame being out, and not sure if he's even going to be back in this series. I haven't watched the news on him the last couple of days, but he was still in street clothes, so long season street clothes. I don't think the Bucks have much of a chance with the Pacers just having youth and pace on their side, and Giannis can only do so much. So I would probably take the Pacers in 6 in that series. I think Giannis is too good just to be swept or even only win one game. Clippers and Nuggets, I think this might be the only series that probably goes 7 games, and I personally have the Nuggets in this. And the only reason I do, because they fired their head coach going into the playoffs as well. But I read an article where Jokic, heading into this first game, rallied the troops and was like, guys, like, do we have our head coach here? No, but this is about a team, and we can rally around each other, and the interim coach, and we still have a job to do. He's like, we're getting paid to do this, and we need to go out and give her a great effort. And man, if Russell Westbrook is going to be out there knocking down clutch threes, the Nuggets is just going to be hard to beat, knowing what Jokic is going to give you. Like you said, I think the thing with Harden is that he's flamed out in so many different ways and so many different playoff runs after having inarguably some of the best offensive years you've ever seen in the NBA, and even winning the MVP because of it. But when he comes into the playoffs, it's like he's going to give you a good game or two, but when things get really tight and tough, he kind of comes up short. And maybe that's where Kawhi picks up the slack, but Kawhi's been another one that he hasn't had a good playoff run since he was back on the Raptors. And that was
2019
years ago.
Yeah, that was 2019.
Yeah, so I wasn't married back then. So that's how long that's been.
Yeah.
And then the Knicks and Pistons, this is probably circled as one of my favorite series because I think this is a pretty evenly matched series. The Knicks definitely have the experience on their side, but Cat is somebody who I don't truly believe in the playoffs. And Brunson is not a guy that can do it all by himself at his size for a 7-game series. I just don't. I think if he has to, in a way, how hard Tibbs pushes his guys, that Brunson is a guy just like last year, he can get ran into the ground and they can run out of gas. And the Pistons are young and hungry, and maybe they don't really know what they don't know. And I really think this game could be pushed to 7 games, and if it does, I probably would take the youth in Pistons if it does make 7 games. T-Wolves and Lakers, I actually got into a heated argument with Rod was on my side because he hates the Lakers, but with Andre, who's a huge Luka Doncic fan but hates LeBron, so I don't even know why he was arguing about the Lakers. But I get it, this guy, but like I told him, I was like, there's just no way the Lakers have the personnel to hold Ant in check and still win the game. Because I'm pretty sure Ant led the league in made threes this year, but he can drive and dish at pretty much any time he want and get to any spot that we want. And that's basically all he did. The Lakers continued to try to run him off the line, and every time he did, he dribble penetrated. He found Nas Reed, he found Jaden McDaniels, and he found Nikhil Walker-Alexander. And they knocked down threes, and they were on the road. And the Lakers, I know Rui had a good game. I think he knocked down 4 threes. But how does Rui play when he's in Minnesota and he's not in LA? And the fact that the T-Wolves came out, stole game one in the Lakers' house, and I saw a number going into the playoffs that LeBron James, when he loses game one at home, where he's the favorite, his chances of winning the series overall drop to closer to like 44% on his entire career. So that does not bode well. Whereas when he wins game one at home, he wins like 92% of the time. Like he's only lost 2 series in his entire 22 career when he's won. I think one of them was the year Dallas beat him in the finals.
Okay, yeah.
So me being a LeBron respecter, but he's not my favorite player. I got the T-Wolves in. I made a Facebook post today saying, I think I said LeBron James, gold chain, soul plane, T-Wolves in 5, but I think the T-Wolves are going to take it in 6.
Okay, Shannon Sharp, relax there. Relax there.
A little reverse Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Honestly, Grizzlies, love them. They're the team that I support the most where I live. But honestly, I wish they would have lost in the playoff game so they can get a lottery pick, because I gave them little to no chance how they're currently constructed and the way this year's going against this Thunder team. They're just a juggernaut. They're firing all cylinders. SGA is probably the favorite to win the MVP, even though Joker's probably the best player in the league. But the Thunder are just too good from top to bottom, and they're just going to run the Grizzlies out of the gym for these next 4 games. And I don't see them losing by anything less than 15 to 20 points every game, honestly. And that's even with Ja looking better in the play-in and playoffs than he did for most of the season. Last one, or I guess we got a couple more, but last game that is actually finalized. I'm with you. If you watched the game, it was a very competitive game. The Magic match up with the Celtics probably better than anybody else in the Eastern Conference, because they defended the 3 best this season of any team in the NBA, and the Celtics are the best. I think they're the best 3-point shooting team, even though the Cavaliers made the most threes this year. But I'm pretty sure the Celtics were the most efficient 3-point shooting team this year. So, like, strength for strength, they pretty much cancel each other out. And while Paolo is probably not overall the best player in this series, I would have to respect Jason Tatum and say, like, that's still his title to hold. I think Paolo, like he said, the greatest thing he can do is go out there and give those guys everything he can, talking about the Celtics, basically to let them know he's coming and that he's going to be a force to reckon with. But I was actually happy to see the Magic would match up with the Celtics, because this is going to be great experience for them going forward. And hopefully we can trade or get a good guard in the draft. Maybe Walt Clayton Jr. from Florida. Not sure how he's going to be as an NBA player, but I love what I saw and the big balls he had for Florida and helping them win. But I'd rather much lose, however the Magic lose, whether it's a sweep or 5-game, 6-game series. I don't think it's going to go 7, because the Celtics are just too deep top to bottom through their 7-8-man rotation. But I love the fact that Paolo and Franz and the Magic are going to get this playoff experience against the team who I have picked to go to the NBA Finals this year. Cavaliers versus Heat. I have the Cavs in 5. I just don't think the Heat have much going for them outside of Bam and Tyler Hero, especially because Tyler's not a great defensive player, and Garland and Donovan are just too majestic and too much of a force as a backcourt duo. I think there's just going to be too much for them. And another series that I do think is going to go 7 games, and I hope it does, is Rockets and Warriors. And I'm with you. I have the Rockets taking that. And I think Ime Udoka was probably one of the better coaches when he was with the Celtics. And they've done a great job building this roster up in the last couple of years with draft picks and getting Dylan Brooks over, and they have a great identity. But I personally think just with their youth and exuberance, they're just going to run the Warriors out of the gym. And that's even with, playoff Jimmy and Steph. I am a Steph fan. I respect Steph ton, but I think they're gonna put Amon Thompson on him, and he's like 6'8" long, but can keep up with Steph with step for step and can run around. And I think if you can take Steph out of the game and make Jimmy's not a guy that can score 30 points every game. He can give that to you a couple times in playoffs, but playoff Jimmy is more about hitting big clutch shots and playing great defense and having great moments, not carrying a team through every series. So I have the Rockets in 7 on.
Yeah, no. I was going through looking at stats and box scores, man. Just some eye-opening things. You look at Ant-Man. This is just something that stood out to me. You look at Ant and what he did. He had 22 points on 22 shots with 9 assists, right? Then you flip over and you want to talk about, he's dishing it out, driving, kicking. But then you flip over to a true point guard, by definition, by his job description, in Jalen Brunson. And to your point, he can't do it all himself. He has 34 points on 27 shots with only 8 assists. You had Cat, who had 23, OG, and Anobi, who I think is, if the Knicks win that series, it's going to come down to him, me personally, with the 23 points. But, I mean, you look at, everybody else is playing multiple guys. I mean, they're only running out, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're starting 9 guys. I think everybody else that I've looked at, you're just like, how are you running 9 guys this entire time? So just some eye-opening things for viewers. It's something that I look at to kind of give people an inside look into my brain and how it works. I love looking at those stats. Is the guy dishing? What else is he doing to win this series? If he's only scoring, well, that's only so much. Yeah. You got to be able to facilitate. So just something to keep an eye out on, man, and I'll keep watching as these series, progress and move forward. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see how it all shakes out. I think we got a good little playoff series coming up.
Yeah, for sure. And just one more thing on Ant-Man before we move on. If you watch that game, he probably, I guess, adjusted assists is maybe a stat, but he probably would have had another, I think, 7 assists where he drove and dish. He made the right pass, but that guy made another great pass a good shot for a great shot, and that pass led to a knockdown 3. So if you even look at how many assists came off of Anthony Edwards' initial assist or initial great pass, when the defense just completely collapsed on and broke down, and then pass, open shot, he probably had closer to 15 assists on the game. So yeah. I just think if he continues to do that and they continue to move the ball to pass a good shot for a great shot, there's just no way the Lakers can keep up with that pace, even if LeBron and Luka combine for 60 points a game and 20 assists, each other. I just don't think the Lakers have the firepower. But moving on to a season that's still heating up in the MLB, we're going to talk about some stat leaders. So I'm going to rattle off the big 3 stats for batting and pitching, and then you all do great at taking stuff another way or adding your own insight. But I'm going to name them off, and then you let me know, and you take over the reins from there. So on the batting side, MLB stat leader for batting average is Aaron Judge, hitting 390. I'm pretty sure I said that right. With Oakland kind of coming out of nowhere, leading the league with 9 home runs. I've been very impressed. I've been keeping my eye out on him. I actually wish I had picked him in my fantasy draft. The guy I picked, who's actually having a good year, just not having that great of a year, because home runs call for so many points in fantasy is ridiculous. And then Aaron Judge is also leading the league with 25 RBIs. On the pitcher side, the ERA leader so far is Tyler Mahle from Texas with a .68 ERA. The strikeouts leader is Mackenzie Gore with Washington, dominating with 45 strikeouts this year, which is insane. I don't even feel like pitchers even have 4 starts yet. They probably do. That's still pretty insane. And then the save leader so far, all tied with 8, is Tanner Scott with the Dodgers, Kyle Finnegan with Washington, and Robert Suarez with the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, so no, man, the thing that you kind of brought up, Judge, and he's leading the 2 main categories. The Yankees are hot right now. There's no doubt about it. Being a Red Sox fan, you always keep tabs on them even though you hate them. Yankees are hot. I saw something, and I forget who it was, and maybe you can refresh my brain on who said it, but basically saying that the torpedo bats were a placebo effect, and that what basically happened is one guy said, oh, you got to try it, And then the other guys started believing and made them hit better. And then one thing led to another, and here you go. Judge is the truth.
Yeah.
I think, did you see Juan Soto's? We talked about this, didn't we, with Juan Soto's comments about? Did we talk about this with his comments about Judge and it being?
Pretty sure I know I've read it and I've talked to people about
Yeah,
it, but I believe we
yeah.
brought it up on the
I
podcast.
feel like we did. I
Yeah,
feel like we did. Maybe we didn't. But anyway, it's just so interesting to hear that, for Judge, I love to see him having the success, even though he is a Yankee. But I think that he's going to have a stellar year, and it's going to be a MVP year.
yeah.
If he keeps up the way he's hitting right now. It's tough, as we know, as baseball guys. You talk about a big guy like that, and there's a lot. People are always trying to find holes, right? They're always trying to find pitchers, are always trying to find holes and swings, and how can I get this guy out? And it seems like each year, like he just gets a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, and he continues to hone in on his craft. And what I love about him too, even though he is a Yankee, he's so humble, man. He's such a salt of the earth guy, and it's hard not to root for him and not to be happy for him having a good year. But I tell you, who's behind him right now? An average.
Oh, an average?
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
I wonder. I was trying to think. I was trying to think who was behind him. But regardless, the Soderstrom kid from Oakland. I'm not too familiar with his game. I know he is having a really good year. Oakland. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I don't know. They're playing in that weird park. You haven't really heard a lot about it. But I tell you, this is something that we kind of talked about on the last podcast or on the last episode. But the Yankees. Well, sorry. Let me backtrack. The Tampa Bay Rays playing in Steinbrenner Field, which is home to the New York Yankees for spring training. Go ahead.
Paul, I knew it was, but I wasn't for sure because they're tied. But Paul Goldschmidt and Arenado from Tampa Bay both are hitting 367. But Paul
Okay.
Goldschmidt is hitting behind Judge and has the second highest batting average in the league right now.
Oh, yeah, and we've talked about him already, and he can hit. I mean, Goldie is just a hitter.
Yeah.
But going back to my point, it's going to be really interesting. We talked about it with the AL East playing in that park. But this is something, and I don't know if you've given it much thought, but the Yankees pretty much get to play on their home field twice
Yeah.
a year. Like, their home games in New York, of course, and then they're going down to Tampa and they're playing at home pretty much again, which is interesting because it's like, damn, like you kind of feel like that's, I don't know, like me, I don't know, I'm superstitious, so I'm like, dude, like that's some bullshit. Like, nah, I don't want them playing here. Like, we're gonna move this game somewhere else. Like, we can go play in Fort Myers or wherever, but I don't want them playing here.
Yeah.
Because the hitters are comfortable there. So it's. Yeah, I don't know if you've given that much thought. I've definitely kind of looked into it a little bit and kind of had the wheels turning about it. Pitching wise, dude, I will say Mackenzie Gore is the truth. I don't know if you're familiar with his stuff and his game. It's nasty.
Yeah.
Like it's legit.
I just got onto him.
Yeah, it's legit. I was onto him a little bit last year, just to MLB The Show, but yeah, no, it's legit stuff. And then I think you're gonna see it good for Tanner Scott because he came from Miami, so good to see him actually getting some saves for a meaningful organization. The Dodgers are still the Dodgers. Did you see Yamamoto's outing the other day?
Yeah.
It's insane, dude.
Yeah.
The guy's insane. But yeah, I mean, those stat leaders don't surprise me. I will say the one that kind of does surprise me is Goldschmidt being out of his prime a little bit and being so close to the top right there. That is a little interesting. Soderstrom, Oakland, I don't think that'll hold up. I think he's hot right now. I don't think it'll stay on there. I know it would have been a great fantasy pickup, but is what it is. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, give me your thoughts on what you got with all those stat leaders. What kind of stands out to you the most?
Well, Judge doesn't surprise me. I'm gonna start with Goldsmith because Rod and Sam are both big Yankee fans, and I told them the best acquisition the Yankees made was not Bellinger, it was Goldsmith. Because Goldsmith, even though he's probably at his physical prime, I think he's 36 right now. The dude is a hitter's hitter, but he's been playing in the NL in that big Cardinal stadium for the last few years, and before that, he was in Arizona playing in another NL park. I was like, this dude's going to get to play, first of all, in the same lineup as Judge. He's probably going to hit right before him or right after. And granted, he's been hitting next to Nolan Arenado, who is one of my favorite players of all time. Like, I love him. but he's not Aaron Judge. But I told both of them, I was like, don't be surprised if Goldschmidt wins a Silver Slugger this year playing for the Yankees, because that getting to play in the AL where pitchers aren't familiar with you, hitters always have the upper when they change leagues more times than not, and then getting to play with inarguably the best slugger of all time. Just Judge's stats, like Barry Bonds' stats are just they're silly and they don't make sense, but when Aaron Judge it plays and he's healthy, he is the most efficient slugger the MLB has ever seen in its history. If he would have made it to the big leagues earlier, because I know he went to college for 3 years and he spent a couple years, and I don't even think he even got called up to. He was like 25 or 26. I think it was closer to 26. That we'd be talking about a guy that definitely has a chance at 700 home runs. I don't think he's going to get anywhere close just because of his age, but the fact that he's as tall as he is, I think the only other guy who I've seen is his stature that has put it all together year after year was Frank Thomas, who
Yeah.
who was 6'5" or 6'6", 280, 290 himself back in the day. But Frank Thomas wasn't in his own right. He was very athletic because I know he played football at Auburn and probably could have been an NFL DN or tight end. I remember if he played tight end or DN, but he's still not Aaron Judge's athleticism, especially being pretty much an everyday DH for his entire career. So watching Judge play, it won't surprise me if he does win an MVP. But right behind all of them, and I'm glad that they're actually finally having a good year, Mike Trout is still my guy because he's just one home run behind. His batting average is still in the top 10 right now, and his RBI is going to be there. But when Mike Trout and Aaron Judge are healthy, and I don't think they've actually ever been healthy in the same year. So if they both finish the year healthy, this is probably going to be one of the most exciting MVP races we've had in a long time. Because anytime Mike Trout can finish a year or play a year beginning to end, is a great year for the MLB.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. And then there's, while we're on this MLB talk and we're talking about people staying healthy and having good years, a little fantasy, little nugget for you. I don't know if you want it, and maybe I don't want to. I don't want to gatekeep. Maybe I can tell you off the pod. No, I'll tell you now.
Yeah.
Alex Verdugo. Alex Verdugo right now, because he just got the call up with Atlanta. They just brought him up finally.
Yeah.
Dude can still hit. Watched him last night. Dude can still hit. Yeah, go ahead and pick him up because he's going to be their everyday guy, especially till Acuna gets back, and then especially with Profar being out with his suspension. Doogie's the guy. It's going to be interesting though to see what happens when Acuna comes back. Because are they going to get rid of Kelnick? Who are they sending down to make room for Doogie?
Yeah.
That's going to be the interesting part. But yeah, Alex Verdugo, man, that guy, he's up, he's healthy, he looks good. He looks, dude, and like when I say like he looks good, he looks like Dodgers Doogie. With the Red Sox, he put on a little bit of bad weight, and then last year with the Yankees, he looked a little sluggish, but he looks back to Dodgers Verdugo kind of status.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Boom. All right. I just dropped a player that I didn't want to drop because my outfielder is probably my strongest point, but you make your strengths stronger is what they say. I think that's what they say. But man, let's go ahead and let's transition. We're gonna do we're gonna transition to a little pre-draft talk, and we're just gonna talk about what is one surprise draft day action, or even leading up, because if a trade is going to happen, it's probably going to happen this week. That'll affect the trade. So, what's one pre-draft or draft day action that you think is going to surprise people?
I don't think it's going to surprise people, but I forget what school it is, but the Louisville kid that everybody's raving over right now, this quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to shock people, but I don't think he's going to go as high as what people are trying to make him out. I don't think Shador's falling is going to surprise people. I think the one that's going to shock some people is Jackson Dart's going to go a lot higher than what people think. I don't think he's going to fall to 20. And I think that's going to shock people. Yeah. So doing that post-draft first-round podcast on Thursday night is going to be really interesting to see how it all shakes out. But that would be my one call that, like, Jackson Dart's going to go higher than what some people think.
Yeah, and this is not mine, but I actually have been thinking about. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Jackson Dart went before Shador,
Okay.
because the knock right now, the knock on Jackson Dart is that he played in Lane Kiffin's offense, which there's like a lot of predetermined reads, which is not very doesn't make you really NFL ready. All that, and then whereas Shador played in a very NFL friendly offense to get him prepared, and honestly, I'd rather pick Shador because he's already had to be accurate under duress behind the O line and no run game in college. Similar, very similar to like Patrick Mahomes and what he had to deal with at Texas Tech. Shooting out, no running game, no offense, just going out there and just being the man, and like learning to rein in hero ball is a lot easier than coaching some guys up. But the reason I think Jackson will jump is because he does have the physical traits, and I can see a team that already has a quarterback that they like, maybe even love, but they're like, how good is our ceiling? That he could get drafted by one of those teams to sit for a year and then become that team's number one guy next year, like as a project. Or it get hell, even a team like when Dallas drafted Dak Prescott, even though he went in the third round, like they drafted him with no intentions of him starting. Tony Romo's back goes out and Dak takes over and never looks back and wins, I think, 12, 13 games his rookie season. Same thing with Russell Wilson, even though again, Russell went in the third round. Actually, I think Dak went in the fourth, but Russell went in the third round. They had just paid Matt Flynn, but then Russ balled out, and it's like, hey, we wanted to sit Russ for a year, develop him, but he's now leading our team to a Super Bowl. So I could see Jackson being drafted off of his physical traits and what he can be over Shador and before Shador on that. And before I give mine, I'll let you rebuttal that if you want to.
No, that's mine. I think Jackson Dart's going to go a lot higher. I think people kind of, I don't want to say sleep on him. I think people are familiar with his game just being at Ole Miss, but I think people are expecting him to be in like that 15 to 20 kind of range, and I think he's going to be more in that 7. Dude, I'm going to be honest with you. Here's my hot take. He goes to the Raiders.
Yeah, that's really hot because they just gave Geno all that money.
I'm telling you. He goes to the Raiders, sits behind for a year. That's my hot take. I could see it working out too.
Yeah.
I could see it working out there.
Yeah.
But I would much rather see the Raiders get Genty, personally.
Honestly, for this year and a couple of years, I'd rather them draft Dart over Genty because I've seen mock drafts of Marion Hampton going to the Broncos and Genty going to the Raiders, and I'm just thinking God, we already got to deal with Herbert, and now we got 2 Super Bowl winning coaches getting top tier running backs. It's going to be a lot harder road for the Chiefs going forward, but I know that's what the rest of the world wants. But my draft day surprise is, I don't know what team it is, but I actually think a team is going to pass on a quarterback early in the draft, and then they're going to trade back into the first round to get their quarterback early. And that quarterback it'll probably be Shador over Jackson. Because I am with you, I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson went in the top 15, the top 10, maybe even 6 or 7, probably not 7, but 6. But I think I wouldn't be surprised at all if during this week or on draft day, a team passes like the Browns or the Giants pass on a quarterback and they just go get the best player available, which would be smart, and then they just draft back into the first round to go ahead and get their quarterback. And some team that doesn't really have a big pressing need is like, hey, we'll take a bunch of second and thirds for the next couple of years to really load up our team in the back end if you want to go ahead and jump in front of us, because we don't have anybody that we're just head over heels in love for anyway in this draft, especially when you get outside the top 6, 7 prospects. So that's just my draft. I don't know where it's going to come from, but I think that's what's going to happen. Team's going to pass on the quarterback, trade back to the first round, and get their quarterback before they get to the second round.
Okay, I like it. I could see it. I'm following you.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into our last segment. I'm stealing this from Pat Costello, who is the producer for the ESPN morning radio show, Sportsmanlike, with Evan, Chris Canty, and I'm dropping the young lady's name. Doesn't matter. But Pat Costello goes on this great rant every Friday where he talks about things he's over.
Yeah.
And it most times it's actually not sports related, which makes him great because it's a sports show. But sometimes he does have something in sports that just gets on his nerve and he wishes to just go away. So I'm gonna turn it over to you first to hear what yours is, and then I'll give mine.
Okay. Okay, something that I'm over. Just thinking about it, it has got to be, and this pertains to me, and it's going to pertain all over the world. But for me, what I've dealt with, I'm over people on their phones and driving. Like, I'm talking like constantly looking at you. Dude, Atlanta traffic is so bad
Yeah.
because people will not get off their fucking phones. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I forget who I was talking to the other day, but I was telling somebody the other day that like, anytime I get inside of 285, like the
Yeah.
285, like perimeter, so him always calls it like inside the perimeter, like outside the perimeter. So like ITP and OTP or something like that. So anytime you get inside the perimeter, dude, I don't pick up my phone. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, like, because it's bumper to bumper half the time. You don't know what you're gonna get. People will cut you off, but you look over and they're on their damn phone, or they got their phone on their steering wheel, or it's on their thing, and they're just sitting here swiping up. It's like, dude, for 2 seconds, get off your phone. And like yesterday, we saw a bad wreck. We were going somewhere, and like the first thing that pops into your mind is somebody's on their damn phone. Somebody's on their damn phone. So that's probably the one thing non-sports related that I'm over right now is driving past people, driving like idiots, and looking over, and they are doing this number right here.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, yeah, that would be my thing. So hit me with yours.
Well, I'm definitely with you on yours because I don't deal with that nearly as much living out in the like I
Yeah.
live way out. I live way out in the country. I live like an hour away from Memphis. But even when I'm in the city, I can't stand it. But it still bothers me because I drive on 72 to get to
Mm-hmm.
Olive Branch and to get to Carterville. And every time there's somebody driving slow in the fast lane or the passing lane, whatever you want to call it, and every single time they're on their phone. And it's like, if you want to do that, just go into the other lane. Like I'm trying to get to where I'm going, and because you're looking at your phone, texting or picking a song or do whatever, finding your podcast, let's just get out of the way. My number one, actually one of my top five driving pet peeves, period, is especially when I used to live and work in Carterville and Germantown pretty exclusively, and so there's a lot of like higher end financially people out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been run off the road in like a 6 year period living there. I have been run off the road 3 times by people who had dogs in their lap while driving. I cannot, if I see a person with a dog in the front seat, let alone in their lap, I either
Yeah.
try to speed up and get past them or I fall back.
Yeah.
And one lady actually, she was in like a $90,000 Mercedes with two small dogs in her front lap, and I saw the dog jump and she swerved and she pushed me and I like ran over a mailbox, and I'm in like Germantown where the houses are like 1 mil and up, and I'm
Oh yeah.
like this is not about to be good. Like thankfully I knew a couple of Germantown cops and one of them responded to the call. And
Yeah.
but it's like this whole time I'm just wanting to like lay on this lady. I'm like, 'cause driving, and the thing about Carterville is Carterville will I've seen cops in Carterville pull people over for having dogs in the front seat, because in Carterville it is illegal to have your dog in the front seat, even when people
Okay.
try to put a buckle. Some people put their dog in a seatbelt. I'm like, that's not working. But my thing that I'm over, and I've seen it a couple times this week. I think you might have seen. I can't remember clinic. I cannot stand people who are sluggers, who pimp home runs,
Mm.
and it doesn't go out,
Mm.
and they either only get a single or they get thrown out at second trying to get a double out of it. Because there's
Mm.
no in between. You either get a single or you get thrown out at second trying to do that. And it's like you never see the great home run hitters pit balls, and like it doesn't go like it never. I think the only one that I ever seen in my entire life was Sammy Sosa did one in like '99 where he hit it. He did the hop, but the wind was just gushing like I guess westerly there, so it was like cutting across left field, and the wind knocked it down. It ended up getting caught on the warning track, which is probably a little bit better because I don't think Sammy even got to first base by the time he
Yeah.
got caught it. But I've never, and I pimped some home runs bad, and I've gotten chewed out for pimping home runs. But I even had girls in softball, and I'm like, y'all are softball players. Like y'all don't watch softball. Other softball players pimp. Like softball players don't hit balls and stand in the batter's box like guys do. But
No.
I've had some girls hit a ball that they thought it was a home run, and these girls were always like slower footed girls, and two of them got thrown out at first base from the outfield because they were hot dogging it to first, and the other two the ball like dropped like on the warning track or dropped somehow, and they try to search it to a double and then get thrown out. And like I don't get too worked up like as a coach. Like I try to keep pretty stoic and even keel. But those
Yeah.
girls got into the dugout, and I warned their parents from the field like I'm about to let your daughter have it, just so there's no ifs ands or buts about it. And I let those girls have it in front of everybody. Again, I don't cuss athletes out or call them out in their name or anything, but all the other stuff, and I was spitting in their face.
Yeah, nah, I'm behind you on that one, man. If you're gonna hit it, it better go out. If you're gonna pimp it, it better leave the yard.
Yeah.
I'm right there behind you on that, man. That drives me nuts.
And don't just stay on first. Let the first base coach chew you out. Don't
Yep.
try to go to second and get it out, because then you've turned one wrong into two wrong.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, the best one is when people try to do it and they don't have a home run on the year.
Yeah,
Like
that's
who
what
do you
I'm.
think you
Yeah,
yeah, who do you think you are? Yeah, like who are you? Like you're
yeah,
not that guy, you're not that girl. Like
yeah,
go sit your ass down,
yeah.
take your double and call it a day.
I remember seeing
Uh
I remember seeing a clip on Instagram a couple years ago. I couldn't tell you what college the guy was at, but he wasn't at a major program. But he's like a red shirt senior. He's like a red shirt COVID senior. So he's a
uh
6 year senior. The dude is like old enough to like rent cars and get insurance.
Yeah.
Dude was like 25,
Yeah.
and he had like two career home runs, and he's in his last year of eligibility, and he hits what like when it left his bat, it looked like a tank, but it ended up getting caught short of the warning track. And but again, the dude hot dogged it so bad that he still wasn't even close to first when it got caught it.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Yeah. Did you? Hey, speaking of pimp jobs, and we'll cut this thing because I think those are two good ones that people can get behind. But speaking of pimp jobs, did you see the one, the Red Sox prospect that hit the ball? It was to win the game, and he flipped his bat in the air. Like, I mean, and like when I say like
I just saw that a little bit ago.
dude, like, and like, now, granted, the
Yeah,
context here. It was like I think bases loaded or something like
yeah.
that, or there was something, and all he had to do was get it over the outfielder's head, and he did it. I mean, he hit it. He knew, like, he got it, whatever. But this dude, I mean, he let that thing go. I mean, and dude, it was up there, like it was above like the home plate net. Like I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, when I saw the clip, I saw that I read the caption, but by the time I looked up, all I saw was the bat, but the camera had already panned up for the home run. So the
Yeah,
camera was high enough you couldn't see the guy running to first base anymore. And
yeah.
then like at the bottom corner of the screen, you see the bat flipping, and it was like best pimp job ever. And I saw that, I was like, this guy had to throw. I was like, this guy had to throw the ball at least as high as the net, the backstop,
Oh, it was
for it
insane.
to get
It
that
was
high.
insane.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
and then
was
I'm like,
insane.
that's kind of dangerous because like your gut instinct as a athlete when a player hits any kind of walk off is to run towards home plate.
Yeah,
But then you got this bat that's torpedoing down towards you, and
yeah,
100% knock you out. Let alone might kill you from that height.
yeah.
So yeah, I saw that, and that was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, Tommy Two Toes out for 3 weeks with a concussion
Yeah,
from teammate pimping home run or pimping walk off.
yeah. I had a buddy. What's Nick's last name? Nick. He's from Central Florida. He was a second round draft pick by the Mariners behind Dustin Ackley. I cannot remember his name, but probably one of the biggest personal trash talkers to this day that I knew personally. And God, I can't remember this dude's name, but he was a second round draft pick. He played in Jackson, Tennessee, because that's where the Mariners Double A used to be. But I remember seeing, because I was like, man, I used to follow him because I was only 1 year older than him, so I was just out of college when he was playing Double A ball. And I looked at his MLB stats. He's been out for 10 games. So I like Googled injury, dude. He took a bat to the head during BP when a guy hit like his last swing of BP. The guy hit a tank and like was acting like he was pimping, and Nick was starting to walk into the batting cage, and the guy threw his bat and nailed him in the head and knocked him out. And he had been having like
Jesus,
severe concussion issues. Like he missed like a month of baseball from it.
that's insane. That's
Yeah,
insane.
I'd be so pissed if my teammate did that to me.
Yeah, we'd be having words after I was off a concussion protocol.
Yeah, because like when you're in Double A, like you're literally costing me like money and the opportunity, me being out, and that wasn't from anything I did.
No,
Yeah.
No.
But good job, buddy. Tonight
Yes,
was
sir.
fun. It went longer than I thought it was going to go. It wasn't very short and sweet, but still fun and engaging. And I'll try to keep doing more fun topics or just keep some of these great topics. It's always good to get a good rant out
Oh yeah.
and not be anything like super, super negative like some of these people are. But good talking to you, man. And we will reconvene in the middle of the week to give y'all that post draft podcast. And we will try to keep that short, but no guarantees. But
Yeah.
that will go up immediately Thursday night as soon as I get that thing edited and loaded up to YouTube. But till then, y'all stay frisky and we'll see y'all later.
Peace.
All right, brother. Good job.
Good job, man. Yes, sir. I'll see